What is going on, YouTube? It's Tyler from Mission VR, where it's my mission to bring you guys good quality VR content. Today, we're going to be reviewing Dungeons of Eternity and whether or not you should be picking this game up, what it all entails, and really if you're in for a questing adventure or not. Guys, with that being said, today's video is brought to you by Kiwi Designs. Make sure you guys check out the Kiwi Design store. They have all kinds of VR accessories and lots of stuff coming out for the Quest 3 if you have a Quest 3. If you do have a Quest 2, or maybe you're picking up a Quest 2 this holiday or something like that, just because it's a lot less expensive now, Kiwi honestly offers the best product line I've ever seen. This head strap that I have is fantastic, and it's just the most comfortable head strap as well as extending battery life. It's just a great product. They're a great company. I can't say enough good things. Make sure you guys check out the link in the description for Kiwi Designs. Without further ado, drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, comment on this video what you guys think of Dungeons of Eternity, and let's get on into it. All right, guys, so first up, I like to start with content. What are you actually getting in the game, and what is the price of the game? So first and foremost, the price is $29.99, and you are getting basically an endless dungeon crawler with an infinite amount of loot to go through. So in theory, there is kind of endless replayability here. In theory, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that later on in the video, but you are getting a fair amount of content when it comes to the actual price for this game. $29.99, in my opinion, for what you're getting here, it's actually a pretty good deal, especially considering that, in my opinion, this game is kind of an investment into the future, and we'll touch on that a little bit more in the verdict section of the video. But yeah, I think it's a fair price. You're getting basically out of the gate. Here's what you're getting into. There's three different overarching dungeon modes. There's one where you could do a soul harvest, where you're able to actually go in and, basically it's a wave mode, and you collect a certain amount of souls and then you get loot for it. There's another mode that you go through a series of puzzles and whatnot to unlock a crystal harvest, and then you end up getting character points that way. It's a way to get character points. And then you have your exploration mode, which is just other randomly procedurally generated dungeons, and those are definitely the best for gathering loot and gear and equipment. So those are really the three types of dungeons you get, but within those, obviously every single room is randomly generated when it comes to enemy types, loot within the room, and the overall dungeon layout. However, that does not stop the fact that a lot of the rooms, as you play more and more and more, you do see the same room combinations, maybe the same type of room, and you kind of generally know, oh, well, in this room, usually there's a key here, or there's a potion there, something along the lines of that, or there's always a chest, there's always one chest here, like you kind of get to know that. Now, the room configuration, like the room that you walk into from the other room, those are all different. So it's not the same layout, but you definitely do recognize the same rooms. But in theory, there is a lot of content here. There's also a significant amount of weapons in this game and play styles, which I think is definitely a big highlight in VR. You can really kind of role play out a character, whether you want to be a magic character, whether you want to be a berserker with 2 axes, whether you want to be traditional sword and shield. Maybe you want to be an archer. There's all kinds of different options here, and the game really does not, pigeonhole you into any one of those. You can switch pretty easily between what you want to do. On top of that, the character customization system in this game is actually pretty awesome. You do get to see the actual armor on your characters, not yourself, but if you're playing co-op in particular, you can see the upgrades that your friends are making, and when you're going through the dungeons, that they're looking at you, and you're able to see what you put on yourself. So it's pretty cool, and there's a good amount of cosmetic character customization options. Really like this, and of course, the crafting. There's crafting of potions in the game and crafting of gear when it comes to weapons. But really, for content, guys, that's about it. And I know that there's a good amount there, but at the same time, we're going to talk a little bit more about how I feel this game could be in the verdict section. But we're going to move on to our sound first. So when it comes to overall sound design here, I thought the sound in this game was actually really well done. I really liked the ambient music, especially in the Outpost. I loved the Outpost music. I thought it really just gave me that sense of presence in the game world. When it came to the actual music within the dungeons, I thought it was all well done. There was a little bit of an exploration-y kind of, fantasy vibe at the same time as, whenever you entered combat, it definitely gave you a good feeling that the pace was about to pick up. I really liked the soundtrack. I thought that was all well and good. The sounds of the actual monsters, the sounds of the game, all fantastic as well. Nothing was jarring. Nothing was out of place. There was definitely some loud creatures in the game, and I like that. I think that adds, a sense of presence to the game world. So overall sound design in this game, actually probably one of the better sounds designs overall I've heard. There wasn't anything that I thought could have been vastly improved upon. I liked everything that was there, so I would give this definitely a good sound design. When it comes to our graphics here, graphics for Dungeons of Eternity is a big highlight for me. This is actually something that kind of changed my opinion of standalone gaming, to be quite honest with you guys. Look, I'm a PC VR gamer first. When I found this game wasn't coming to PC VR, at least right away, I was pretty disappointed by that, just because I like to play on PC. I think that, I can obviously, with a PC, get vastly better graphics and smoothness on a lot of these games that I play. However, the Quest 3 and this game kind of changed my opinion of that a little bit, because to be honest, the Quest 3 running standalone for this game in particular, I felt like I was playing basically a mid-end PC VR title when it came to the graphics. Everything was just so crisp looking. And, switching back and forth between my Quest 2 and my Quest 3, you can definitely see the lens upgrade, and it is massive. It is significant. Like, the Quest 2 looks blurry, and what the Quest 2 looks like. It's not bad. It's playable. The game's enjoyable, but for somebody who knows what PC VR looks like, it's very difficult to play on a Quest 2. But, luckily for me, I have the Quest 3, and I'll tell you what, I was very, very impressed. The graphics in this game are awesome. Really, really well done. You can see everything very crisp and clear. There's like the pseudo physics-based combat to some extent, where like the weapons do carry some physics to them, but it's not like Blade and Sorcery where like it can get clunky at times. Like, it feels very smooth. It feels very organic. You get some great stuff like the eyes glowing in enemies. And then on top of that, some smaller things that I noticed when it came to graphical presence was just like, I could throw down a power potion, for example, and I look over at my, I played through this game really with my fiance, and I looked over at her character, and her eyes are all glowing blue because she's got quad damage on. And like, that's so cool, right? Like, that's something that's a little attention to detail that I thought was really cool. On top of that, in-game voice chat, when you're talking to somebody, you can see their mouth moving on their avatar, which again, it's small little things like that really give VR a sense of presence. And this game had all of that. On top of that, like I said, the physics-based combat, you can swing your axe and hit a skeleton in the head, and their head might get stuck on the end of the axe and they just get obliterated, right? Or a zombie, you can cut its leg off and it starts crawling, and you can actually see it crawling, and then you could throw a dagger at it and it might stick it right in the eye, right? And there's just little things about this game that I thought were really well done, and the graphics was a big highlight for me. So when it comes to my verdict on Dungeons of Eternity, man, this game, it's one of those ones that just like I get a little bit irritated about. And here's why: because the game is so damn good. Like, it is so damn good, but it's just not quite what I want from VR yet, right? And that's no fault to the developer, and it's no fault to anybody other than the fact that VR just isn't quite there yet, right? When you play a game like this, you start thinking about all the possibilities of, holy crap, like, where could this go? Or like, what are the games of the future going to be like, right? Like, imagine playing Elden Ring, something as extensive and as deep as Elden Ring, but fully in virtual reality, right? And those are the kind of vibes that like Dungeons of Eternity makes me want to have, because the weapons feel amazing in your hands, right? The combat feels fluid, right? The environments feel good. Everything just is so well polished. It's a house built out of incredible foundation. It's an incredible foundation. But here's where I have to just say this, right? I'm a level 30 right now in the game, which I've put some significant time in. It takes a little bit of time. There's 50 levels max in the game. And about level 23, you start getting legendary items. So there's still a good amount I have to go. But The game is very boring at the end game right now, and I just can't not talk about that. It sucks because it's like I've seen all the dungeon combinations so many times now where, like I said earlier in the video, I have seen the same rooms, you know, over and over with, I know there's always a chest there, or I know that that's a good key spot, right? You know, there's boss rooms where, you know, a certain amount of bosses would spawn, right? You get to the same things over and over and over. And even though the dungeons are randomly generated, they're randomly generated to a point where you can start, you know, even though this room and that room, and, you know, even though you reorganize 1, 2, and 3 into, you know, 3, 2, 1, right? You're still seeing the same 3, the same 2, the same 1. And that's kind of how I feel about this game, you know, at this point. On top of that, the end game content, there really isn't any end game content. And I think this is kind of a bummer for me because at least, and maybe there is, and I just haven't unlocked it yet, but I just feel like that would have been advertised, you know, beyond level 30, you unlock, you know, a raid or something that worth keeping me playing other than just, you know, looking for better gear, right? And that's, you know, that's the essence of the game. You're looking for better gear the whole time, but at the same time, you know, in my opinion, I think that again, when I talk about an investment into the future, right? I think this game a year from now, if they do a couple things to it, could be like really deep, like really incredible. Like they have a foundation with this game that is so good. The graphics, the combat, everything is there. It just needs a few things. And really, the loot system is one of them I think need to be somewhat overhauled, because I don't like the idea that, you know, legendary weapons are they become pretty common later on. You don't really get like the tier system, you know, starts out based on your level. So you obviously start with common, and then you start getting unique weapons. And then, you know, as you level up, you get rare weapons. And then as you level up, you get legendary weapons. And that's kind of the top end. And I'd rather see them go to a system of more of like common through epic, and then legendaries are definitely a lot rarer, but they also have a lot of unique abilities and unique model designs, because that's the other thing. Legendaries don't have any unique model designs in the game. So you're getting that same sword you had at level 1, only now it might have a purple and orange glow to it. And like there is some visual change in it, and the status effects are awesome, definitely. But I would like to see even more there. I think that that's something that they could definitely improve upon. And on top of that, with the end game content, I would love to see some more directional quests, you know, longer type adventures where, you know, you would go on like a raid, for example, and, you know, there's going to be some better gear, some, you know, raid specific gear. I think this is stuff that they need to add to the game that would vastly improve the game in the long run for players that are looking for end game content, right? You know, because once you kind of get up there to level 30-ish, you kind of seen everything, and you know, the levels start to feel repetitive. The game starts to feel repetitive, and I want to play more of it. It's a good game. Like it's a really good game, but it just needs more on the back end of it. And I think that, you know, adding some raids, adding, you know, more mythical gear maybe would definitely enhance that experience of this game. And like I said, I'm excited to see what they plan on adding, because like I would love to see a forest biome. I want to see more castles. I'd like to see some more bigger open environments, and those are some big things. The other thing I want to say, that when you get past level 25-ish, the game becomes very easy. Oh, too easy for me. You know, and part of that is because the crossbows in the game right now are vastly overpowered. But it's not just a crossbow. Even if I was using a bow or a staff, you know, a specific staff, obviously, like there's a couple staffs that are garbage. But you know, if I was using like even a force staff, which is kind of a middle of the road staff, you know, I can be really overpowered, and the game just has no challenge at all to it beyond level 25. And maybe that, like I said, maybe there's a certain level where things start to pick up, and I just don't know about it. But those are all things that I think they need to advertise within the game to keep people playing the game, because, you know, I'm at the point where I've kind of seen everything, and, you know, I'm probably going to put the game down for a little bit now and wait for more updates. But if there is more to the game beyond level 30, I'd like to know, and I think that they should advertise that. So it's definitely something that's there. As far as bugs go in this game, there was one bug I encountered early on where you couldn't pick stuff up. It has since been patched. Other than that, the game has run very, very smoothly. I only fell through the map one time in one location, so I'm not that worried about that one. There really wasn't anything game-breaking here that I felt like, oh my god, like needs to be addressed. They're definitely pretty good about that. The game's very smooth. It runs amazing. I can't say enough good things about the foundation of this game. When it comes to my verdict here, I do think this is a buy game. I think this is a game that if you're looking to play co-op games with somebody in VR, an adventure title like this, I think you're going to have a lot of fun. I did put a significant amount of hours into this title before this review, just because I wanted to see everything. I wanted to get those legendary weapons before I felt like I saw enough of this game. I wanted to see if there was any end game content, because that was kind of my fear going in, is it going to be the same thing over and over and over again? Luckily, there's enough of it there where you can put some significant hours in before you start to notice that, I'm kind of doing the same thing over and over, but at the end of the day, it does end there. And I think that's where they need to focus on in the future of this game. Is the beginning of the game is incredible. It's easy to pick up. You feel good about it. But as we start to unlock, and personally what I would do is I would have 3 new event type things where, maybe like raids, and I'll use the word raids as my example. But like at level 30, you unlock the first raid, right? And that in itself has its own random elements, but the bosses and all that stuff's all unique. And then at 40, you unlock another one. And then at 50, maybe you unlock 2 that are like end game specific, right? And then you also can unlock the option to maybe do like nightmare dungeons where you get special nightmare loot. Like that's the kind of stuff, the direction that I want to see this game take, where I could really actually have some replayability. On top of that, I'd love to see them add like a town square where, a more of a social aspect. I think this game could be incredible. I think it could really go the distance when it comes to VR. It's an absolutely fantastic title with fantastic bones. I just want to see a little bit more from it in the future. I do recommend it though. I will say I recommend this game. I do think there's enough there. For $29.99, you are not going to be dissatisfied with your purchase. There's no doubt about it. I think you are absolutely going to enjoy Dungeons of Eternity, outside of the fact that, it does get a little bit easy in the end game, and the bosses definitely need to be better because they're just so damn easy. Everything about this game becomes easy after level 30. Well, guys, that is it for this video. I hope you guys found it helpful. And Dungeons of Eternity, like I said, it's a good game. It's really got a great foundation, and it just needs just a little bit more updates and some direction. And I think that this game is going to take off and be a huge VR success for many years to come if they continue to update it. But that is it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys found it helpful. Please do drop a like on this video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment in the comment section. I love reading those, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.